Central on ABC. And Coach, while we wait on any questions today, if you could please take a moment to comment on your team as you enter this week's game at Georgia.
Yeah, you bet. Just got off the practice field and, excited about the challenge against a really good Georgia football team. Coach Smart, done a great job again of putting a team together, competes start to finish, has toughness and doing a good job of executing. Probably one thing I just want to note, because I know I put a statement out last night, I'm probably going to get asked on Jamarian Latham, and just to follow up on that, he is at UAB, just continue to get evaluated, probably know more here in the next 48 hours, but most importantly, he's got motion, feeling. Just texted with him this morning, and he told me to tell the guys he's doing well. So just more tests, more things we got to evaluate, but that's the latest on him.
All right, for questions for Coach, please use the raise hand function, and we'll begin with Matt Stahl of AL.com.
Hi, Kalen. Two-part question. Just what do you think of not playing LSU every year under the new schedule? And did you guys push to get Mississippi State instead of LSU?
Yeah, I had nothing to do with anything. Get told the schedule pretty much when you do. And so, that's down the road, and really just focus right now on Georgia this season.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next is Hunter DeSilver of Bama Central.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering, just regarding Jamarian's absence, what has been the message to Yanze, Quay, and just the rest of the Wolf linebacker room?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are heavily involved already in just being on the football field, and the number of reps become more clear to them, and so they're they always practice hard, and expect that to continue to be the case. Just they got to make sure we continue to build that depth in not just in that room, but all the spots that Jamarian plays. So it's unfortunate, but it's an opportunity for these guys to step up and continue to improve themselves and our football team.
Next, we'll go to Brett Martell of the Associated Press.
Hey there, Coach. Just circling back to an earlier question. I think the last time, for example, LSU and Alabama didn't play was 10 years before you were born. I was just wondering, I know you're focused on Georgia, as you said, but heard any reaction in Tuscaloosa to the idea of this not being an annual thing? And could you speak to the kind of the traditions in general and how maybe hard it was for the league to try to keep those intact?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be really honest. I saw the announcement on TV last night while I'm making recruiting calls, and haven't talked to a single person since. Just been focused literally on getting ready for this week's game, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation about exactly the question you asked. Those games do all go back a long time, but from what I understand, I think we're playing them again here soon, maybe even next year, if I remember right. So, just again, I'm focused on the right now, and with it just being released, there really hasn't been much as far as conversation on that.
Okay, I'm good, thanks.
Next will be Steve Moulton, WZZN.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Hope you're doing well, sir.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Thank you, Coach. I wanted to ask about Georgia's run game in particular, and what have you seen out of this Georgia run game in particular this year, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a physicality that comes with their style of play. I think they continue to do a really good job of mixing up the concepts, the schemes, the window dressing, and then you add Gunnar Stockton into the mix with his timely keeps, his ability to keep plays alive on pass plays, and so it's certainly something you gotta be ready for.
And Coach, I cannot help but notice how many freshmen are growing right in front of us. I'm curious from your standpoint of what you see there practice-wise week to week. How much improvement have you seen out of this freshman class, Coach?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And, we use them in a variety of ways. They're heavily involved, obviously, in offense and defense, and more guys, Latsier Brooks and Isaiah Faga, London Simmons. I know they're not all true freshmen, but guys getting their first real quality playing time. And then we use these guys on special teams, Dijon Lee, on defense as well. But these guys are heavily involved in special teams and really doing a pretty good job for the most part, and excited about the development and growth. And that's what the bye week's so important for, is to continue to bring those guys along. And, this would be another taste for these guys, to on another level with us starting SEC action.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Anyone have a follow-up from Steve, perhaps?
I do, Coach. To that point in particular, what kind of what does that do to a locker room to see? Because we always, at least in our world, Coach, we always think about seniors being your leaders, and I'm not saying you don't have important seniors, but seeing this freshman class and what they're doing, what does that do to a locker room, Coach?
Yeah, the one thing we noted early when these guys got here in the spring, or in the winter actually, is that we were going to need these guys in a lot of different ways. Our tight ends involved, in what we needed from them. Guys in the receiving core, building that depth on the offensive line, and Michael Carroll, getting some playing time. And our upperclassmen, I think, really did a good job of understanding how important they were and embracing that and helping the transition, for these guys, whether it be in the workouts or now as we get into the season. There's a learning curve, and, there's some lumps that some guys have taken, and maybe we've even taken, but, there's a learning curve these guys are going through. And, I think it's sped up because of the upperclassmen and the way they've embraced it and helped these guys along.
Third down in particular, of third down defense for Georgia, of more or less kind of tricking you into the defense that Kirby wants you in. It's something that tell me about that from your perspective, and how good is Kirby at disguising, particularly on third down, Coach? Yeah,
and it's everything from the back end and coverages to, the pressures they want to run. And so great scheme and foundation to start with, but then, they always do a great job of really dialing into how they want to attack you. And so, we got to do the same. We got to do a good job of getting what we want and attacking back. And so that's always been our mindset, and that's what we want to focus on. But obviously, we got to be ready for a lot of different things as we prepare for Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Next will be Mike Griffith of the AJC.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the new rule on the pre-snap movement on defense. How has that changed? What is the difference now between how it was and what effect does it have, or versus what it used to have, I guess?
Yeah, we haven't had as much of what I thought we might have this year, and we really haven't had any at all when it comes to the signals and stuff. That would be penalized, and so it probably hasn't made as big of a difference as I thought. I thought it was getting a little overly detailed, but I also know that there was something that was needed to just kind of keep, offense and defense, and giving them boundaries and parameters to work within when it comes to the disconcerting signals.
When you say signals, what was the shift in terms of, the difference now to then in terms of what defenses do differently with this?
I think there's just more limitations on what they can do or how they can do it, really. It's not what they can do, it's probably more of how they do it, and the movement and how that might force an offense to jump, and so it's just really putting some tighter parameters on it.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Coach, that'll wrap you up. Thank you for today.
Yep.